Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, throw open your windows and call out to your neighbors. It's time for John Perrotta's Comedy Factory Zoom-A-Loozа, sponsored in part by Play-Doh. Why? Because every now and then it's fun to be creative with squishy stuff between your fingers. And now, your host, John Perrotta.
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
What are you talking? I haven't used that in 55 years, Mike.
That's why you gotta do it. You gotta get back into. Yes, of course they do. Yes, you gotta get creative. You gotta get back in touch with your creative side.
Tell you what, I'll get all the comics to come over your pad. We'll buy a shitload of Play-Doh and we'll just mold it all over you. You can fall asleep tonight. We'll leave some so you can breathe. All right? We'll mold you.
We'll get creative.
You'll be
with
like
Play-Doh.
abominable snowman from Frosty the Snowman. What was the abominable snowman? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We can invite Steve DeNuccio over. He can show us how to make Disney caricatures and whatnot. It'll be a lot of fun.
Before I introduce our guest tonight, did you eat Riccati's sub the other night? The tuna is out of this world. I bought him one the other day. Did you eat it?
I gotta tell you, boys and girls, Johnny P came over my humble abode the other day. He brought me a Riccati submarine medium-sized tuna with pickles, lettuce, and tomatoes, and it was absolutely out of this world. It was very, very good.
Will you go back again?
I will go back again. Although today after church, we went to Twins.
We went to Twins.
I love Twins.
We went to Twins.
Before we introduce the panel, we got Jay Burns coming on. You guys know Jay Burns?
Love Jay Burns.
Jay Burns is going to be connected to audio. He's late, so we got to put him in timeout. Are you here, Jay?
I'm here. I'm here now.
Well, we're just starting. I'm just going to introduce the panel. We're recording now, so don't get crazy on me. Jay Burns, very funny guy. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, John. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. We'll get back to you. We got the very funny. This guy can draw. He can rant. He can do comedy. He does it all. Steve DeNuccio. How you doing, Stevie?
Cheers to everybody. I'm doing very good. I'm not happy about the fall coming, but I'm enjoying.
We're still in summer, man. You're crazy. Yeah. We got my man, always at the Comedy Connection. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. He's a good dude. Wole is in the house. How you doing, Wole?
I'm good, sir. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Doing good. I wish I was in shape like you, but if I was in shape like you, I'm telling you, man, you look like I would never mess with you, Wole. That's why I was getting along with you. When I looked at you in June, I said, them two guys, I ain't messing with them. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be back, man.
Treat them guys like gold. I'm gonna treat them like gold, and I ain't messing with them. Tell June I gotta get him on here too. You guys,
will do.
That's why I got you guys on my side, because you guys.
Of course. You ain't never got to worry about anybody messing with you, bro.
I got a problem. The first guy calls, Wole.
Make sure.
And then we got the very pretty, the very funny, my comedy stepdaughter, who's on Zoom all the time. Dutchess SS is in the house. Good to see you, Dutchess. And then we got, last but not least, my good friend, the stuttering comic, been doing comedy and DJing for many years. He's an electrician during the day. Anthony Brooks. Anthony, how you doing, brother?
Good, and yourself? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Anthony,
good, man.
We've allowed an extra hour for tonight's show because I know you start
I really appreciate that. I'm sure
we get to you if it takes a while. People will understand why the show's 2 hours.
I only got 88% life on my phone, so it's over.
I don't think you're gonna make it, Anthony.
No way, I don't think so either. I think it's done.
You supervise a crew, right?
Yeah.
So how many guys do you supervise?
I don't know, like 4 or 5 sometimes. 3, Yeah.
So when you got 5 guys, and you're trying to tell them what to do, and you're stuttering, does it take the job if I want you to put a ceiling fan in, 3 ceiling fans in my house with these 5 guys, and you're stuttering, how long is it going to take? Will the job take 3 days or?
It might. We're at the point, like, I just point the things now. It's like the junk guys, you point and things get done,
You just point.
Just like how I talk to my kids.
Oh, man. I love it.
one year the boss hired a deaf kid, and his first day he worked with me, and shit got done. It's like I kept telling him to do something. I'm like, hey, can you, and he's like, what'd you say? I'm like, can you. He's like, what'd you say? All friggin' day long. So the boss was like, well, what'd you get done today? I said, nothing.
After, I'll have you tell the story in a little while about Home Depot. Wole, this is Wole's first time on the show, so we got to go to him, man. Give him some respect. What's going on in your world, Wole? What are you up to, brother?
Working from home since the quarantine started. Doing a couple virtual comedy shows. I did one a couple days ago on Friday.
How did that go?
I hate it. But I'm gonna try to do 2 a month just so I can force myself to write and stay consistent. But I hate it. I missed the stage. I actually did. I did Frank and Friends at Comics Roadhouse like 3 weeks ago, and that was good to finally be back on stage. I really miss it. But the virtual stuff, I don't like it. Shit is trash.
Yeah.
It was not. I liked it. I seen a little bit of it.
Whoa, your head's a little,
I
don't know if you can make it. Yeah, there you go.
Got you.
You're a big dude. We're trying to get you in the picture here. It's not easy.
He's only doing that so he can show
man.
off the guns. That's what it is. He's doing it so he can show off the guns every time.
Hey, we didn't ask you. This isn't Jerry Springer. You're talking out of turn. All right, brother? Calm down over there, Jay. When we get to you, we'll get to you. We got a lot of people and a lot of personalities here. We can't just keep going to Jay Burns. Put your mask on and relax, and we'll be with you in a few minutes. I love Jay. Jay was he was bigger than me. You were big. How much weight did you lose, Jay?
2 months.
And it's probably closer to a total, probably like about 310, and then I gained some more.
310 pounds. That's about what I weigh now. You lost me.
With my pop up here.
You lost me.
That much?
You lost me.
At my heaviest, I was a little over 500, and then when I was in the hospital, I was at 176.
How do you lose 310 pounds? How do you do it? What did you do? What did you
Tapeworm.
do? A line of coke from here to Chicago?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. I've been up since. That's really what happened.
Now, how do you lose 310 pounds? I mean, I lost 67. I struggle. I'm struggling on a diet now. How do you do it?
I did it. Well, the beginning part of it, the first like 200 was all like actual work, a lot of exercise, a lot of eating better. And then the last like 150 was because I wasn't taking care of my diabetes and I was, melting away.
See, I think what I can do, I got Wole working from home. When he gets done work, he can come over to my house and watch me all night. And every time I go to eat a potato chip or something, slap it right out of my hand. Well, I'll pay you good money, brother. I ain't gonna mess with you. If you tell me you don't eat that cheeseburger, I'm gonna look at you. And if you're gonna whack me around, I'm not eating the cheeseburger, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stupid, Wole. I'm not stupid. Steve DeNuccio's in the house. My good friend, what's going on in your neck of the woods, Stevie? You're right there in an Italian bakery. We should have had you pick up pizza strips today.
Oh, I know, huh? No, I'm doing really well. My artwork, I have a ton of artwork backed up. I go to the market. They called me, by the way. I never signed up for that job. So I work at the deli, get a lot of material there. And, of course, the dental work picked up again. So I'm doing a lot of dental lab work, a lot of implants. And so I'm kind of very busy doing a lot of different things.
I know you got the pub running on Mondays. My phone's not ringing at all. Like, I don't have one gig the rest of the year. Do you have any other gigs? Any of you guys have phone calls coming in? Any gigs? I got nothing gigs. The rest of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah, no gigs. That's it.
What do you got, Dutchess?
I'm actually headlining on the 19th. And
is it a Zoom show or at a club?
Nope, I get to touch the mic.
Where's it at? LOL Saturdays?
No, Woonsocket with Marby Marv.
LOL Saturday.
LOL Saturday night. That's Saturday
cool.
night.
Well, hey, you got any shows coming up?
Negative.
See, this pandemic is
I wasn't done, stepdaddy. I woke up to from a message from Sinbad, and he said for my November show he wants me to send it in. Because I'm going to headline my own November show.
Sinbad told you to send your set in?
Yep, he did it this morning. I was like, I'm waking up from a message from Sinbad. What the fuck what kind of life am I living right now?
That's all right. See what happens.
Yes.
You never know. It might help you out.
Yes, it did. And I
Maybe
reached
we
out
can
to
work
my
out a package deal. Tell him I'll come, Sinbad.
We
I
already
gotta
know
take the
it.
stuttering comic with me.
That's what
Imagine flying over there with the stuttering comic and he meets Sinbad. That could take 3-4 weeks.
I'm in there. Locked and loaded.
Anthony, I gotta tell the story about Home Depot.
Okay, yeah, Home Depot. Yeah, that was an experience. Yeah, one day I go into Home Depot. I'm trying to buy a product though. The thing that sucks the most though is when I meet somebody else for the first time who did a stutter also. But here's a true story. I was going to Home Depot once, and so I'm trying to find a specific product, like some caulking. So I go to the caulking aisle, and I see this guy in this orange apron. So I assume he worked there. So I just went up to him and said, "Hey, can you tell me where the caulking aisle is?" And he's like, "Yeah, follow me." And then that moment in time, I thought to myself, "It's gonna be a long day in Home Depot." So then we go to the caulking section, and he's asking me questions, and he's stuttering like crazy, and I'm feeling his pain. I know what he's going through, and then I finally had a question for him. So I said, "How long does it take to dry?" And he's like, "Are you making fun of me?" Too. He didn't believe me. The friggin' prick didn't believe me. That's what it was. Yeah, it's just a true story.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
You never got married, right, Anthony?
Oh, I did one time. Yeah, I mean, it
How
was.
long did it take you to propose?
Well, see it this way. So, by the time I said I do, it was over. It didn't last that
It's
long.
like my first marriage. It went. Mike Cronin's in the house. We can't forget Mike Cronin.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over there with Play-Doh later. What's going on in your world, Mike? I know you went to church today. What'd you eat this afternoon?
I had the combo plate at Twins.
Which is what? What does that consist of?
That is a big slice of chicken parm, 2 meatballs, and 2 sweet Italian sausage links.
Now you're Irish. You're Irish. And you eat
100%
more
Irish.
Italian food than me.
I probably do.
How did you get hooked on Italian food?
You know, growing up as a kid, my mom used to make a lot of chicken parm, spaghetti and meatballs, and I just fell in love with it, man. It is my go-to. That and steak.
Every day I talk to you, you send me pictures of Italian food. You never send me a picture of a steak or prime rib or Chinese food. Every day, it's Italian food.
We'll get there. We'll definitely get there. As we venture out, you will start to get photographs from the different establishments that I go to. I'll hit you up from Twins. I'll hit you up from the Outback Steakhouse.
I don't need any pictures. Don't send me any pictures. Now, Mike Cronin, you guys don't know Mike well. He started comedy in the early 90s. I met him at Periwinkle's Comedy Club. He had long hair, and he was dubbed the bad boy of comedy. He had a great act, kind of risque, kind of edgy. And Mike, he was really funny. We became really good friends pretty quick. And a bunch of years went by. We kind of would touch base here and there. We kind of lost touch for a while. And because of the pandemic, one of the good things is Mike and I have kind of rekindled an old friendship. And he's been helping me a lot, putting stuff on my YouTube channel, these comedy chats. And so Mike's been doing a lot for the Comedy Factory. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we got back in touch, Mike. Whereas Steve, I used to work with Steve quite a bit, and then the pandemic hit, and one by one, all the rooms we did went down, and I haven't seen Steve hardly that much at all during the pandemic because there's nothing going on.
So really, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I got hooked back. What it came down to, I traded DeNuccio for Mike Cronin. It's like Babe Ruth for Danny Carter.
That's an upgrade. That is definitely an upgrade.
Stevie, I love you. You know I love you, right, Stevie?
Okay, Jay, I'm going to have to write you out of the will now. That's all right.
What were you going to leave me, a set of choppers?
I don't make dentures.
I want to do a Zoom show from Steven's Tiki Bar before it gets too cold.
Come over.
That place is beautiful. Every
Oh,
time
you
I
like
see,
Janaya Creation.
I'm like, I gotta get the invite.
You're invited.
We'll do it. We'll
Hey,
definitely
I
do
gotta
it.
tell you guys, I'm not gonna get big into this tonight. We talked the other night, and I found it hard to believe
Oh
that
boy.
Mike Cronin has never
Oh,
seen
boy.
Psycho with Anthony Perkins. He's never seen The Shining. He's never seen The Omen. He's never seen any horror movies. DeNuccio,
Never.
you like horror movies?
I do.
I love it. And my mother is crazy about horror movies.
You like
I was
horror
raised
movies,
on them.
Duchess?
Right now, my son's scared to go in the bathroom. My nephew's
like
scared to go in the
vampire
bathroom because we accidentally explained what Bloody Mary is.
Well, Lee, you like horror movies, brother?
Absolutely.
Have you seen The
Absolutely.
Shining? The Shining?
Of course. If you haven't seen The Shining, then I don't know what you've been
Classic.
doing. with your
Plus,
life.
I want to tie him down and make him watch it. I really
You
do.
got to.
But now, thanks to Mike, he recommended a movie he saw that was kind of freaked out. Too much for him.
Did you really watch it?
I watched The Boy Next Door last night
Oh,
with Jennifer Lopez, and she
Mhm.
got hooked up with a young guy in the neighborhood. He wound up stalking her, and it was like a Fatal Attraction movie, which I enjoyed the heck out of. It reminded me of 20 years ago in my life. I really enjoyed it.
How come I never heard of this one?
I
The
watched
Boy
that
Next Door.
movie. I watched that movie because I'm a big fan of Jennifer Lopez. I like her dancing. I like her singing. I like the sappy movies that she does, like Wedding Planner and all that. And I did see that movie, like Enough or something like that. I like that where she gets herself in shape and starts training to box exactly, Janaya, and she fights the guy off, and victory is hers. So when Boy Next Door came out, without me doing a deep dive on the research or watching the trailer, I watched this thing. I woke up that night in a cold sweat. I was petrified. I was so scared.
Yeah.
It was just an absolute bloodbath. It had Christian Chenoweth in it, who I also like a lot. I just cannot do the horror movie scene.
Thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And then at the end of the movie, it said, if you like this, we recommend these. And what did I watch? The Iceman. Well, like, true story about a hitman.
Yeah, okay.
A
Yep, I see.
hitman. I swear to God, every 3 minutes, somebody was getting bumped off.
Yeah.
It was, what a double feature.
I thought that was a documentary about Vanilla Ice.
No,
thought
the
it was a
Iceman.
documentary about Federal Hill.
They put one guy in a freezer.
I thought
That's
it
why
was
they call him the
actually-
Iceman. They put him in a freezer.
I know it.
Anybody ever seen the Iceman?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
It
saw,
was-
that was. I didn't even hear about that movie.
yeah.
I just happened to see it
Anybody
last
see that
night.
new movie by Omar Epps?
What was that? What's the name of it?
I forgot the name of it, but it was a horror movie to me.
Yeah, I saw
It
that
was-
last month. It was good. It's a good movie.
What's
Yeah,
the name of
it
it? You
was-
know, Anthony?
I can't think of it either. And if I did, I couldn't probably say it. So don't worry about it.
If you think of
But it
if
was
you
a
think
Fatal
about it,
Attraction type movie. And
message
he was
me
going
during the week.
hard. Yeah, that was a good one. I was scared.
Fatal
Yeah,
Affair.
It was good.
Fatal Affair, yes. Yes.
That's what it
Fatal
was.
Affair.
Fatal
Yeah.
Affair.
Yes, she stepped out on her husband and he was gonna come and get her. I was so scared.
Omar Epps and Fatal Affair. I'll watch that tonight.
Netflix.
I'll go over Mike's house and we'll sit down and watch that.
Will not happen. I'll be running down Middle Spring Avenue.
So one of my favorite moments was, so I'm a huge horror fan. I used to actually have a horror podcast that I hosted. I've watched so many horror movies. So the one time I've ever been in the back of a police car, my car, there's an issue with the inspection sticker, so my car was getting towed. And the cop said, I'll take you to this. And I was in like Blackstone, Mass area, right near the border. And the cop said, I'll take you to this nearest Dunkin' Donuts. And he goes, well, what were you doing up here? And I said, I was hosting a podcast. And and so he's driving me. He goes, oh, you want to know something cool? I said, what? And he goes, so see that house right over there? And I'm like, yeah. And this is big field, and this like really weird looking house. He goes, that's the Conjuring house. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And he's like, yeah, that's the house in the Conjuring. All of that horror, all that stuff that happened in the Conjuring happened right there. And then he dropped me off at the Dunkin' Donuts right next to it.
Nah.
Now, when you look
I
at
don't
when you
even know
look,
what The Conjuring is.
that's a good horror movie, Mike.
Took
Now, when
place
you
in
looked at the
Springfield.
house, was Brian Vincent sitting there smoking a cigar in a dress?
He was right out the window, just peeking out there.
How you just gonna leave there? Like, no, don't tell me nothing then.
Dutchess, make that noise.
Which one? I make a lot.
Yeah,
Make some noise. I like when you make noises.
Duchess says which one I make a lot.
I like when you make noises. I like it, Dutchess.
Can I tell you
like
something?
it.
That's always been one of my fears. John
When
just
the-
goes, "Hey, make that noise, brother."
And when the show started, she was making noises. Now she forgets what she was doing.
Oh no, that's my 8-year. That's my calling.
That's your call.
Yep, I can swear. Anybody from the South Side, if I do that, they gonna turn their head. I swear for Lord, do
Is
it.
she crazy, Wole?
She's not crazy. She's Dutchess.
She's not crazy. She's Dutchess.
She's
That's
Dutchess.
your merch right there.
So Wole, what's going on in your world? You got a
'Cause I can't
girlfriend
get a
or what's
check for
going on,
being
bro?
crazy.
Do I have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
You're
Nah.
smarter than I thought. You're a real smart guy, bro.
So wait a minute. My
Too many
sister hit
headaches.
You said what now?
my
What you said,
sister
Dutch?
hit you up and you turn her right down. You don't. What you want to be single?
Who's your sister? What are you talking about?
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
we got an anti-love connection going on.
Yeah, not on the internet, bro. What are you doing? Stop. What are
But
you
you was taken.
I asked
doing?
the wrong question.
Yeah,
You
it's
stop it,
no,
Dutchess.
John, straight up, man. Women are nuts. I'm good. And I personally don't believe in monogamy. You know, I don't think monogamy is a sustainable thing. Like I believe that we're really not supposed to be with one person forever. And I just
Sweet
that's
baby
just me.
daddy.
That's just me.
It's
And
really
I don't
hard.
want
It's really
kids.
it's really hard. To do
Yeah,
with one person.
it's hard. It's work.
Yeah, it's
It's
work.
like all relationships, even this right here. Like if we were all friends, it's hard work to like maintain relationships, and people be forgetting that shit. And then when somebody gives you some vagina or some penis, they're like, all right, well, they want ownership over you and shit. And I just, nah.
Every relationship I ever been in, whoa, every one of them tanked. Every one of them. I'm with my second wife. I want to be marrying her. She's my second and my third wife. She's the only one who will put up with me. All the rest of them are down 95. They took off. Mike knows that. Am I nuts in relationships, Mike?
Johnny P.
We can't get too deep into it.
We can't get deep into it. John and I have privately discussed that we could do a show that would be a ratings blockbuster, boys and girls. A ratings blockbuster. We have more stories than Carter's does have pills. And
we got some stories.
They are hilarious. They are hilarious.
Some that we can't tell on here tonight.
We can't. I would say that those stories, they have to stay in the vault. And the only way that you know the vault is you have to have the key. And to have the key, you would have had to been there to see it. And John and I are the only ones that have the key.
There you have it.
I remember one night, this girl, I was mad. She went home. I said, I'm gonna go to her house and tell her a thing or two. And I was going. I took the Cottage Street exit. It was raining. I was going so fast. The car went up in the air, smashed into the curb. My car, the front of my car was absolutely, I could barely drive it. That was years ago. I won't tell you what I did then. I had to call my auto body guy, get this car, get it out of here. It was many years ago. I can say that now, whoa, statute of limitations.
I remember that. And I remember the girl too.
Oh.
We'll leave it at that. Like Woe said, we are on the internet. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, man. I had no idea you was a psychopath, John.
We can't go,
John.
Yeah, we can't go too deep. I'm 62 now. I'm not looking for. I'm looking to stay out of trouble now. I've been in trouble for years, Jay, and now I'm looking to stay out of trouble.
I don't blame you. I
got enough trouble.
You know, speaking of years ago, Johnny, last night I listened to Ace and Scott Higgins' tribute podcast to Dave DiLorenzo.
That was a good. Yeah, that was good.
Man,
yeah.
that was so good. And the way that Ace wrapped that up, man, I got emotional. I got emotional a couple of times during that when they said
they might not know Dave DiLorenzo. Dave was actually my cousin, and he was a comic and great guy, great comic. And we did an Ace Aceto and Scott Higgins behind the funny. We did a podcast tribute to Dave, who passed away last year.
Condolences.
This year was this past
This
February,
year.
wasn't it?
Couple months ago.
Few months
passed
ago,
away.
yeah.
He took an Uber ride with me. I picked him up one day.
Yeah, he's a
Great
good guy.
guy.
I felt really bad. I went to see him a couple of times, and I was supposed to bring him a veal palm dinner from Twin Oaks on Saturday, and I talked to him on the phone like Wednesday night, and then the next day he didn't make it, unfortunately, and we miss him. But that was a great podcast.
That was a great podcast, man. I got emotional a couple of times, and I absolutely, Ace, if you're listening, man, hats off to you. I love you, brother. The way he wrapped that up, saying, I'm going to wrap this up the way I did my last phone call with Dave. I love you, brother. And then he went into his set, and the set that he played at the end, that was a show that I booked. That was up at El Basha, up in Worcester, Massachusetts. And listening to that, man, you just forget how funny Dave DiLorenzo was. Man, he was just hilarious. He was just an incredible person. And that's what I did last night. I listened to that. It was awesome. It was really awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So what else can we talk about tonight? As Mike would say, boys and girls. What else?
Boys and girls. Sinbad. I want to go to Sinbad. Sinbad, one of my favorite stand-ups. Absolutely love Sinbad. I would recommend all of you to get on YouTube, Google the Breakfast Club. He did an interview with them. It was a while back ago. It's about an hour long. And man, I'll tell you, man, he gets into the behind the scenes of business in stand-up, and that is a guy that is just so incredibly gifted, blessed by God. His dad was a pastor. Sinbad himself is born again. He is just so funny. He is just so absolutely funny. That is one of my favorite all-time interviews on the Breakfast Club.
Now you're gonna be thinking, who's your favorite comic, Mike? If you had to pick one, all the major comics, who'd you?
You know, I couldn't really pick one. If we're talking today, I like Jim Gaffigan. I like Sebastian Maniscalco. Back when we were coming up through the ranks, I was a big fan of Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was the one that he just knocked down doors and blew the glass ceiling apart. He was like one of really not the first. Lenny Bruce was kind of aggressive in his stand-up style, but Richard Pryor was the one that really cracked open his chest and said, this is my life. This is what it looks like. And it wasn't pretty at all.
I was going to say Richard Pryor too, because I always, he was one of my favorites.
He was absolutely, absolutely talented. I forget what the name of it is, but the one where he's dressed in a red suit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
What's the name of that one, Steven? What's the name of that?
Oh, God.
Is that live on the Sun?
That's live on Sunset, I think.
Is it live on Sunset? I watched a documentary about his life, and what I learned from that was that show, when they filmed that, let's say Saturday they filmed that. He comes out, he's not having it. He's not having a good set at all. He stops. He walks off, told all his people, I don't have it tonight. Tell him to come back tomorrow. So because he's Richard Pryor, he can cameras went off. Everyone went home. They came back the next night, and that's what we saw on the DVD. Imagine that. He just walked off and said that. And that goes to show you, boys and girls coming up through the ranks, starting your comedy right now, that you don't always have it. You just don't always have a good night. There were nights that you can say something. Jay's cracking up over here. Jay is cracking up. That you just don't have it. Another night you take that same set, and sometimes it can be within the same night. Because I can remember years back doing 2-3 shows a night. Yeah. It's with the exception of the crowd work, the bits of the bits, they didn't work in Warwick, but man, they crushed in North Kingston. You're like, what went wrong? You know, what did you say differently? So it happens to Richard Pryor. It can happen to anybody. I can remember when I watched the Joan Rivers documentary. She said the same thing. You go out 12 nights in a row, you're lucky if you get laughs once. Wow, look at that, Stephen. That is awesome.
Got Richard Pryor over there.
That is
You
awesome.
drew that yourself?
Awesome.
Yeah, I drew this for a person who just absolutely loved him, and he
That's
commissioned
awesome.
for
That's
it.
awesome, Steve.
Yeah, that looks great. You did a
Yeah,
phenomenal job with
I
that.
like Richard Pryor and Don Rickles. Those two guys. Who do you like, Steve? If you had to pick one or two comics.
I have two favorites. One that I really love because I loved his ability to use a stage like Broadway. That was Robin Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Now, when
That's
I
a
do
good one.
comedy, I don't obviously do Robin Williams, but I try to mimic the way he used the stage.
Yeah.
How he became, use the stage. Don't be planted in one spot.
He was
And I
all
love
over. He
George
was all
Carlin.
over the place. Yeah.
And I love George Carlin. I found those two comedians and absolutely fantastic. I between the both of them, I love Robin Williams. I totally miss him.
Yeah. He was.
Stephen, did
he was
you
awesome.
see Robin Williams when he was on Inside the Actors Studio?
Yes.
Wasn't
Yes,
that
yes.
riveting? That
Yes.
was incredible.
One of the best, I thought one of the most ingenious performances by Robin Williams when he came out dressed as a flag, just a shirt.
That
Yes.
was good. Yeah.
And
I do remember that.
He almost had you in tears the way he talked about Old Glory. And the way he did that, he was just spot on.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. I remember that.
It
Yeah.
was just an amazing guy. He comes out in a shirt and a flag, and he just talked about it. And you almost swore that he was the flagpole the way he went into it.
He was. That was an awesome. I remember seeing him come out doing that.
He was so talented. I loved him in Dead Poet Society.
Yes.
Goodwill
You're still not
Hunting,
talking horror movies, though, Mike.
Awakening. I am never going to talk. Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, Sebastian Maniscalco, Jim Gaffigan, they could all be in a horror fest, and Grippy Mike is not going to be watching it.
You're a bum. Wole, who do you like? Who's your couple of favorite comics?
Eddie Murphy, Chris
Yeah,
I
Rock.
love Eddie Murphy.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
There's so many
Those are
great
my
ones, you know. There's so many great ones, you know.
Chris Rock too. Chris Rock.
Eddie Murphy, and who else you
Special.
like? Who else you like? Whoa, who else? If
Go
you had
ahead,
to
Jay.
pick two.
Oh, I said Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. I can't pick. I can't pick. I can never give my list without
I
saying
forgot
those two
Chris
guys.
Rock. I forgot
Yes.
Chris Rock would be right at
What
the
is-
top of my list.
There's
Yeah.
so many great ones. It's hard to really. You could pick two today and two tomorrow, and then I get this guy. And there's so many great comedians. Dutchess, who do you like if you had to pick a couple?
Well, I gotta represent for the females, and I grew up on Samore, Queen Samore.
Yeah.
Yeah. She taught me things that I couldn't ask my mama, so that's why I love her. And she produces everything by herself. Everything is hers. Like, just not even just her stand up. It's just everything around her. Like, she's definitely
Amazing.
mine.
Yeah.
And then the second one is Zanab Johnson. Like, she's coming up in the game. Like, she's killing it. She came to the Comedy Connection a couple of times. And then rest in peace, Bernie Mac. Like, that's my uncle right there in my mind.
There you go, man. Bernie Mac, another one. I mean, there are. That's why when someone says to me or asks me rather, who's your favorite comic? I personally can't go there. Just in this conversation right now, Janaya pulled my memory trigger. Wole pulled my memory trigger because there are just so many absolutely brilliant stand-ups.
I knew we'd get a lot of different ones, you know. I just wanted to see, you know, and see.
And John, you and I know too, from the 30 plus years we've been doing it. How many are road comic warriors that haven't made it TV and movie famous that are just as funny as every name that we're talking about right now? There are so many funny people out in the world, man, and that. Wow.
Stuttering comic. Pick two comics. Who do you like?
Robin Williams.
Comics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Robin Williams. You know, he's really awesome, and yeah, I like all the comics that were mentioned by Wole. You know, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock. I mean, they're all geniuses. You know, I like all kinds of comedy, you know, women, female.
It's really hard to pick two. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
you can make a list of 10, and every day you put them in a different order because you.
Lucille Ball, there you go. There's another one.
Yeah,
Lucille
she was
Ball.
a stand-up, but yeah.
Jay Burns, who do you like, brother?
I have to say mine's probably gonna be the weirdest mix, because the person who introduced comedy to me, like the first time I actually listened to stand-up was when I was probably 7 or 8, actually probably younger, maybe, yeah, about 7 or 8 actually. And I heard Red Fox's "I Ain't Lied Yet."
Oh yes.
And
yes.
Red Fox is always I've always loved Red
It was
Fox.
on record.
People
Yeah,
forget
it was a
about
record.
Red Fox because he's been gone for a while. But I used to watch Sanford and Sons.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Me too. I love it.
Classic,
It was a
classic.
great, and I've always had that, like, what I loved about that album was, like, it was done in a small club, and you could hear, like, all the glasses clinking and the ice and the drinking, and you could hear it all. And I love all of that ambiance because you could tell it was in a small place. But and then the other two big comics that have who've influenced me that are two of my favorites. A current guy is named Mike Barbiglia. I think he's brilliant. He just one of my favorite comedy specials I've ever seen is Thank God for Jokes.
That's
And
fun.
it's a great one. He does a 45-minute. He does one joke for 45 minutes. It's brilliant. And then Foster Brooks was my other absolute favorite person.
Oh,
Foster
yeah.
Brooks,
Foster
absolutely hilarious. Another comic that comes to mind for me that I personally find is absolutely hilarious is Michael Jr. Michael Jr. is absolutely hilarious.
I've never heard of him.
Michael Jr. is one of the biggest comics out there. He's a Christian comic, and he is absolutely, positively hilarious. He is so funny.
Is he well known?
Oh, yeah,
I've
absolutely.
never heard of him.
Absolutely. Michael Jr. is a big, big name. If you're going to book Michael Jr., you better get your checkbook out.
But I mean,
That's how big he is.
That's probably mostly for the Christian comics, right? The known Christian.
That's what he is. Yeah.
If he's a Christian comic, but if he came down to the dunk, he'd sell it out. If he went to Madison Square Garden, he'd sell it out. Absolutely, he would.
You got all the greats over there.
Look at Steven. Steven has got it, man. Steven is so talented. God bless you, Steven.
Red Fox.
So
Whatever
talented.
we say, Steven's gonna.
And we're forgetting. You go back to days gone by. Red Skelton, man, he was
Oh
so
my God.
hilarious.
I mean, all the Reds, Red Buttons too. Red Buttons.
I like
Buttons,
Jackie
yes.
Gleason. Jackie
Gleason,
Gleason.
another one.
Jackie
You and I
Gleason.
were connected, John.
Honey
You
Boo.
watched Jackie Gleason and posted it, and I had watched Jackie Gleason the day before you posted it. I said, wow, John and I are both going back to the old time.
I posted a picture of Jackie Gleason.
Well, you said you did something. You said you were watching Jackie Gleason.
Oh yeah.
One of your posts, I said, I just got done watching it. I love that show. The
Yeah,
world would shake when they closed the doors.
Jackie Gleason was classic.
One of these days, Alice. He was hard to work with, though. I saw that in a documentary.
Yes.
He never rehearsed. He called all the shots.
And he was a talented musician too.
Claudia told me that when she was, and Claudia, for those of you listening at home, Claudia was one of the assistant managers for a good number of years at the Comedy Connection many, many years ago. And she was down in Miami at a hotel vacationing, and she was walking across the pool deck, and who comes right up to her is Jackie Gleason. So she asked him very nicely, Mr. Gleason, I'm a big fan. Could I please have an autograph? And he growled at her, "You've got to be."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and just kept on walking, Stephen.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yep. Ask Claudia next time you talk to her. I'll never forget that. He
I
growled at her.
I don't talk to Claudia. I don't even know her number.
You don't know Claudia? How can you not know Claudia?
Give me Claudia's number, and we'll all call her tonight and ask what happened with Jackie Gleason.
Claudia is someone that we've got to get on. We got to do a show with Dana and Claudia.
I didn't know Claudia well. Dana, I know. Claudia, I didn't know well.
I knew them both very well. They both played, as you did, a instrumental role in my stand-up career in the early days. They both gave me a ton of work.
The good old days. Now our phone's not ringing.
The good old days, right? It'll ring
going
again.
From sub shop to sub shop, your phone's not ringing.
It will ring again. You know, Pastor Donovan preached at my church today, and he is one of my favorite preachers. I love that man dearly. And one of the things he said today is, truth is we all need each other. And as I've told you before, John, you've been in the comedy game, bringing laughter and enjoyment to people for 30 years. When this thing passes and the doors open and people are feeling safe and comfortable to come out, they're going to be looking to you, brother, to make them laugh again.
I hope I'm alive. It's going to be 2 years from now.
You're going to be alive. You're going to be alive.
It's going to be at least a year.
I told you, you're my opener, so I don't know what you're talking about.
If they get the vaccine the beginning of the year, by the time they give it to 335 million people and half of them don't want it, by the time they give it to them, it's who knows when it's going to be safe. Right? That's what I say, Wole. What do you say, brother?
In terms of what? Like when we'll be back outside?
Yeah, and when do you think it's going to be safe? Nobody really knows. What's your guess?
I would say the end of next fall. Like next fall, I think things will.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think things will ever return back to normal, but I think the vaccine will be here, and the masks are gonna be with us for the rest of our lives. I feel like the social distancing and how they're doing the dining and all that. I think that's gonna stay. I actually don't mind that. Like I actually think I don't like crowded restaurants and stuff like that. And I think the cleanliness of how everyone's trying to be with their businesses and stuff. I think that's not gonna go away. But I think normalcy probably like next fall.
That's what I'm thinking, next fall. I mean, I did dinner shows, which unfortunately is probably the worst thing in the world right now for comedy, because I did buffets where people would all go up and help themselves. Those days are over.
Oh, God.
Dinner shows.
You just have to have the meals pre-made.
They're going to have to serve them the meals. So I don't know. It's going to be.
Have it already sit there.
Well, every dinner comedy show I did, the 4 or 5 places I did, every one of them, nothing. I mean, I happened to go by Lemongrass the other day, and I saw the owner out there. I did dinner comedy shows there, and I pulled in and talked to him, and he said the same thing, maybe next fall, next year. You know what I mean? So it's off in a distance where, like I said, hopefully by next fall, some things will come back, but I think it's going to be a little while, unfortunately. But I've adjusted. It took me a while, like Stevie knows, Mike. The first 2 months when the virus hit, I don't know about you guys, I felt like I got hit by a truck. I was really down. I had been doing so much comedy and helping comics and putting shows together at 150 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden I hit a wall. And for 2 months, I was like, what is going on here? And I thought it was going to be like the flu and it was going to be nothing. I never knew it was going to be millions of people and people dying. I didn't know it was going to get to this. And all the dinner places I do, every one of them, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. I called them all. So, we're in limbo right now, Jay.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, so hopefully by next year, you know what I mean? I'll get Stevie busy again, and Woe and Dutchess and you guys, Anthony. Right now, I got nothing for you.
I miss everybody.
Our show is at the end of this month.
You got a show.
In front of a group of two.
My phone rings. It's usually a bill collector. It's a bill collector when my phone rings. I used to get 3-4 calls a day. Can you put a show together such a day? Can you put a show here? Now I just look at the phone all day. It doesn't ring. I swear to God. Once in a while, Mike.
Speakeasy right now. Now there's shows in a speakeasy. I did a piano gig on a boat, 100-foot yacht. It's like a speakeasy. Shh, don't tell anybody.
There you go, Steven. You're right, Steven. You know what? You are right. This might bring us back to that bygone day of like speakeasies and the shh, letting people in the back door.
Yeah, I did a private show for at a Knights of Columbus for, it was a political event, obviously, but it was a private thing, and I had to go in the basement. I had to set up my equipment. I'm the only comic, and it's like, shh, we didn't advertise this, we got just our members, and it's like, it was like, all right. It's crazy.
I talked to we do the Knights of Columbus in Warwick. I talked to Ray, the guy that runs it over there, and I had a show there November 7th scheduled, and
my birthday.
Yeah, we could have did a Dutchess birthday show, but he told me he had to send back thousands in deposits. Everybody canceled. They can only have like 50 people right now. They're not getting a lot of places. They're not getting parties. They're not getting calls.
Yeah.
And they can only they have to serve the drinks, I think, and everything is going to be so different. Like Will said, it's going to be the new normal. It's probably not going to go away. Like 2 years from now, we're probably still going to be 6 feet apart. You know what I mean? The shows are going to be spaced out. It's probably going to be like this for a while. I know the 1918 flu, they said people didn't come out for 4 years. For 4 years, they were afraid. You know, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm afraid of the virus. Some people are not.
No,
But I got a situation with my wife. My wife has health issues, and I've been afraid from day one. And I don't want to get the damn thing.
With that, my daughter has some complications, and I just don't play with that. You ain't coming to my house. I don't know where you been.
Yeah.
That's understandable. I can see that. I understand. You know, I watch Steven in the morning. I can understand where he's coming from. And I go back to, and Steven will remember this, and I'm sure you will too, John. 1969, man, we held Woodstock during the Hong Kong flu. 400,000 people joined together for a 3-day music fest. And the Hong Kong flu killed over 1 million people globally and over 100,000 here in the United States.
I lived through swine flu.
The virus the coronavirus is worse than the Hong Kong, I think, because we're up to, 180,000 last I heard that died.
I never knew none of this was going down.
What's that, Steve?
What'd you say, Steve?
As reported on the CDC site, you can go there, and it's still up. 9,700 nationally died only, not
well, what happens? They get the coronavirus, and you got I got high blood pressure, diabetes.
Right. We're not talking about that.
It's going to kill you.
Coronavirus, just straight coronavirus.
Right.
9,700, and that's reported still on the CDC site. It's on the third chart down.
There was somebody, Stephen. I'm hoping you can remember the name.
Not my site.
There was somebody, Stephen, who was relatively famous. I forget if they were an actor or in the sports or the whatnot, but they passed away. And the media was saying so and so died from the COVID-19, and then this person's family said, "Oh no, they didn't. And we're going to release the medical reports." This person didn't even have COVID. Didn't even have it, but the media was saying that they did.
I've seen some people. I've seen them get interviewed in the hospital, and they weren't afraid of COVID at all. And then they got it, and they said, "This thing's for real." So most people maybe are not afraid of it, but God forbid you get it, then you're afraid of it. You know what I mean?
That's
it's like
true.
anything. It's like any kind of flu, or you could say, "I'm not afraid of that," and all of a sudden you got it.
Well, I got my flu shot.
Yeah, I got
and
the
I
flu
will
shot.
get this shot when they release it. I'm not one of those anti-vaxxers.
Yeah. I'm going to get the.
I believe in taking a vaccine. I'll get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get back into comedy.
I was gonna say that, man.
No, John, you said you didn't want to talk about it, and you started talking about it.
Right, Rolay's right. John got behind the bus, and he took us right over there.
Yeah.
Drove us for about 10 miles.
COVID, guys.
I know, I didn't want to.
But it's pandemic. We're not going to do it. And then I did it 25 minutes later.
It's too much. It's on my mind too much, Rolay. It's on my mind too much. Without the gigs and everything.
I agree with John.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they talk about. Any channel you look at, almost. You know what I mean?
We'll get through it, John. We've got happy days ahead.
That's right, Stephen. That's right. Like Pastor Donovan said this morning, truth is we all need each other. In shows like this, that's right, man. And Jay's got his shirt on. Stand up, Jay. Let's see that shirt. Y'all need Jesus.
Need Jesus.
Praise God. Praise God.
We all need each other, but unfortunately we can't get together.
But we're doing this, John.
So we're doing a Zoom.
We're doing the Zoom. We're doing the Zoom. You know,
Anthony Brooks, give us a stutter. Say the Hail Mary. See how long it takes. We'll wrap it up with that.
Anthony got a black queen behind him just shining. I love that painting.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, the wife picked it out. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, she really liked it. So
nice
you can give me some Oshun vibes. Give me some Oshun vibes.
Let's see it.
Nice, Anthony. Nice.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, very nice.
Nice picture. Nice.
We got a few minutes left before we got to wrap this up. Does anybody got anything they want to talk about here?
Well, I could start by saying I continue to get information at my place of work in the morning at the deli. I guess being that I'm from the North End and when I'm working up in Woonsocket, I get into a lot of trouble when people say they want Genoa. And I say, I don't know her. Do you know her? I call it Genoa. And they say, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know her. You said Genoa. And then they say Provolone. What's a Provolone? It's Provolone. And they argue with me because I think I'm saying it wrong. So you know what? I'm in the wrong spot. I need to have a comedy stage somewhere.
That's it. That's it.
I go nuts, Steve. If I had to cut cold cuts, I'd
Oh
go
my
crazy.
God.
I
Stephen,
throw
what
bologna
is
at Jay Burns.
Stephen?
No,
What,
John, you
what
could be
is
underneath
the,
the slicer.
What's
what's
that?
the what's the
that,
cold
Mike?
cut, Stephen, that has the green olive in it? What is that?
Oh, that's called olive loaf by
olive
Broadhead.
loaf. Olive loaf. There
You
you
can
go.
stick that in a jar and a glass of vodka and call it a dirty martini, all right?
I wouldn't eat an olive loaf if you gave me $900 right now.
I agree with you. It's bologna with olives in it.
No,
Yeah.
Well, have you ever ate an olive loaf? I don't even know what I seen it. I could never touch that.
I've
I
seen
agree
it
with
too.
you. I don't like it.
Angel had a sandwich the other night and upset his stomach. And when he told me what it was, I said, that's probably why.
Was it olive loaf?
Dutchess, what's your favorite food, Dutchess?
chicken.
Chicken.
John, she gave you a look of
Olay
like, I
getting
will.
his head.
She was shocked. She gave you the, don't ask me that question.
Olay, what's your favorite food, brother?
Not chicken.
Save the
Tell you
day.
that.
Oh,
Save the day.
What
My
is it,
favorite,
Whoa?
my favorite meal, believe it or not, is shepherd's pie.
I just made that.
I love
I
shepherd's
love
pie.
pie, man.
Mm-hmm.
You put ketchup on it or gravy?
No.
Some
Gravy.
people put gravy, some
Gravy.
people put ketchup. I put ketchup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put some mushrooms, some peppers in the meat, and you know.
All right,
Make it
Dutchess.
taco
I love
style.
mushrooms.
What do you put? Gravy on it? Whoa,
Yeah, gravy.
gravy. Yeah, some people.
Yeah.
Everybody likes it a different way. Well, we got to wrap this up, Mike.
Shepherd's pie is good, man. My dad used to call shepherd's pie depression food. I said, what are you talking about? He goes,
That's
what
right,
we-
that's right.
He said, that's what we called it back then,
That's
depression
right.
food, because it was cheap to make.
Pasta fazool,
Yeah.
all that stuff was all
Yeah.
depression food.
And it's leftovers. That's why I make it. Leftovers. They cannot kill a whole big old pot in one day.
That's it. That's it.
Are you a good
Janaya,
cook, Dutch? Are you a
I
good
was
cook, Dutch?
just going to ask her that. You stole
Yeah.
my question.
I actually went to school for cooking. I graduated. I have my chef hat. I
Where'd
just
you
had
go?
to stop because of the
Where'd you
carpal
go?
tunnel. I went through the Amos house.
Yeah, you're good.
Really?
So what
Mhm.
can you make us some night if we all come over? What can you whip us up?
Anything that I
What's your
don't eat.
specialty?
Anything. I eat everything. I cook everything I don't eat.
Can
Put
you
it
make
that way.
lasagna? Can you make a good
Oh.
lasagna? Me and Wole will
Yes,
come
as
over
long
some
as you're
night.
paying for it, I got you. I got you with all them cheeses.
All right.
Wow, we gotta have we gotta do a Zoom show at the Tiki Bar. We gotta do a Zoom show at Janaya's house. Janaya, do you know a guy by the name of Tommy Fernie?
Tommy Fernie. No, I know Eileen.
Eileen?
Yeah.
My friend Tommy Fernie, I think it's the Amos house. I think he cooked there for whatever place it is. He cooked there for years.
Yeah, I used to cook for the homeless with the Chef Mike. Shout out to Chef Mike. He fed a lot of homeless people.
Wow, praise
That's
God.
cool.
So we
God
got.
bless you for doing that.
So now we have John. We have some new studios to broadcast from.
You got it.
Mike, you're out of your mind.
I'm telling you, it'll be fun.
You don't
It'll
mind
definitely.
He's
Come
a
on.
sick guy.
Are you kidding me? If,
We're
you
gonna-
know.
What?
I was gonna say if someone is inviting us to their home and they're gonna cook, and I have a feeling that Janaya can throw down.
Yes.
We
yes.
gotta take her up on it. We also
Yes,
we need to be able to get to Steven's house for the Tiki Bar. I love that
Or the
place.
pirate bar. I got
Or
two bars.
that's right, or the Pirate Bar. We gotta go on
yes.
location
I
now.
had my homegirl Robin.
Now,
We
John,
can do the
what we
cookie.
can do, John, if you don't want to go, if you don't want to leave your studio, then you can just zoom in. We
Zoom
zoom you right in. We use
say we
this
go to-
smart technology.
We go to Anthony Brooks' job site when he's supervising the 5 guys. That'd be a good show right there.
Anthony does not look
Oh,
too happy with that idea.
The stuttering supervisor, Anthony Brooks.
With a hard hat.
He's a good sport. He's the stuttering comic. He's an awesome guy. I always loved Anthony. I would
love
never
it.
want to have sex with you, Anthony, because I can't imagine.
Damn, really?
Stevie, we
I
got to
love
wrap it up. Stevie, what are you going to say to wrap it up?
Hey, look, I love you guys. I think Mike Cronin has a lot of interesting things. Well, yeah, let's do it. Let's have on the scene, have the Tiki Bar, the Pirate Bar. Let's just have some fun. Bring Jay Burns and Brian Vincent up the house. Jay is a nun and Brian is Martha. We can have a lot of
decrease
fun.
your property value.
Let's do it.
Jay, what are you going to say to wrap it up?
Well, if we're going to go over there as a nun and an old lady, we're going to decrease Steven's property value. So we got to be careful with that.
You already
okay.
did every time you go there.
That's true. Very true.
Love having you on, Jay. You're the man. Jay's a great guy. I cuddle with him sometimes when we get cold.
Me too.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, we can all cuddle together some night. It'd be very nice, you know.
That'd be
Better
nice.
shepherd's pie, and then we can eat it all. Anthony Brooks, what are you going to say to wrap it up?
Well, I got to say is that no one invited me over to the friggin' house. I think it's because they've seen the way I eat.
You can come, Anthony. You're with us.
With
We'll
us.
bring you.
Yeah, I know, but then we have to so short distance, you know. So you got to have a yard at least 24 feet wide.
Wow.
Everybody.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
6 inches at my house. Not
Well,
6 feet.
you're welcome to come, Anthony, wherever we go. Wole, what are you going to say to wrap? Your first time on the show, we're going to have you back. You're phenomenal. I love you, Wole. What do you got to say to wrap this up, brother?
Just, thank you for having me, and I appreciate all of you guys, and, stay safe.
All right, thanks a lot. You too.
Dutchess, what are you going to say to wrap it up?
Well, I do have a show. I'm headlining. I get to actually stand up. So if you can support me, you can actually watch on Zoom too. September the 19th. Check me on Facebook,
Great.
YouTube, Southside Dutchess.
All right. Tell Sinbad we said hello.
I sure will.
She's got Sinbad, man. Mike Cronin, we're going to leave you, the bad boy of comedy turned Christian comic, with the final word of tonight's comedy chat.
I am honored and humbled, Johnny P, to be on this show tonight. Wole, it was great meeting you. Anthony, good seeing you, catching up after so many years. Jay, I love you. I've had some of my greatest conversations with my dear friend Jay Burns. Stephen, great seeing you.
I love
you, Stephen. Janaya, man, I'm getting to know you, and the more I get to know you, the more I am liking you. You're a talented and gifted young lady. I'm going to leave us all with this. Remember what Pastor Donovan preached this morning. The truth is we all need each other. I pray God's favor over each and every one of you, and each and every one of you listening at home. Remember, truth is we all need each other, and God sits on the throne.
All right, Mikey. You guys, everybody stay healthy. Steve DeNuccio, Wole, Janaya, Dutchess SS, Jay Burns, Anthony Brooks, Mike Cronin. It's been great having you guys on. I'll have you all on again. We got to get through this, and the Zoom is helping. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Hope you guys enjoyed it tonight, and everybody had a fun time watching. Thanks, guys. And girls.
God bless.
Good night.
Everybody, God bless.
Enjoy the holiday, folks.
Yeah.